This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
And a very good evening and welcome to the South Today. I'm Craig Story. World Vision CEO Chris Clark touched down in Queenstown recently to address a small group on poverty in the Pacific and the Syrian refugee crisis. Clark discussed the Syrian crisis affecting children, forcing them to move to Lebanon and Turkey. He also spoke of malnutrition, education and healthcare issues affecting the Pacific. Mina Amso has more.
This is Adil. He's 12 and wants to be a doctor. He's one of millions of Syrian refugee children displaced and living in a refugee camp.
And every morning he goes out and he digs the ground, or he picks tomatoes, or he chops firewood for the local farmer. What he's doing is slowly he's earning money, and his great vision is actually earn enough money that he can build a great big house for his mother and his sisters so that they'll be safe. He's 12 years old, you know, he should be playing football, he should be in school, and yet what he's doing is he's thinking about the future of his family and how he can look after them.
Adil's father died. The 7-year-long crisis in Syria has led 5 million people to move out of Syria into neighbouring countries.
So a lot of the work that World Vision's been doing is with these families who are severely traumatised, children who've seen things that you'd never wish a child to experience, who are now living in a very simple tent through the storms of winter, through the snow of winter in places like Lebanon, and then through the great heat of summer. So what we're doing is making sure that they've got the basics of life, and really talking about the basics. We're talking about sanitation and hygiene and water and food.
But Clark says real concern is the psychosocial damage children are suffering today.
These children have been severely traumatised. They've seen their schools bombed, in many cases have lost parents. No one is unaffected by the Syrian crisis.
World Vision is working to create a new sense of normalcy for these children.
One of the exciting things we do is we take these children into a school effectively, and we call it a child-friendly space, and over about a period of 12 weeks we help these children come to terms with the grief that they've experienced and give them a sense that there is still a hope and still opportunity for them as young children. And it's profound work. I was in a camp very recently in Lebanon with a mum, and she started crying, and she said to me, "This is the first time I've heard my daughter laugh in 4 years." So it's great work.
Clark says more New Zealanders are putting their hands up to help, and in the last 3 years alone, they've given over $7 million through World Vision to help support the Syrian crisis.
New Zealanders are incredibly generous and responded really in a way which is magnificent. So much so that other countries around the world have been noticing the response of New Zealand.
Clark says both the crisis in Syria and the Pacific are pressing issues.
It's hard to say which is the more pressing. I think as New Zealanders we have a real responsibility for the Pacific, yet as humanitarians we must respond to this global crisis of refugees.
Clark also met with some young people in Dunedin on Monday. He said it was extraordinary to see how passionate young people are to make a difference. Mina Amso, The South Today.
About 95 Delta employees are expected to transfer to Aurora Energy by mid-year as the two companies separate. The business divorce is one of the recommendations from an independent review by Dunedin City Holdings Limited. Delta and Aurora Energy Chair Steve Thompson says they expect no redundancies from either business. Delta will employ just over 500 staff following the transition. Aurora Energy will be a network company with network renewal as its principal priority, while Delta will provide energy distribution, green space and solid waste services. No redundancies are expected. The old adage says coughs and sneezes spread diseases, and that's all the more reason to stay away from Dunedin's emergency department this autumn. Volunteers say the department is steadily filling with cases of people who've come down with this season's lurgy, but the hospital advises that in all cases, patients should first seek a GP and then take the day off work.
If you're one of the early victims of the cough and cold season, stay away from the ED department. That's the message at Dunedin Hospital this autumn.
Emergency room has been really busy over the last couple of weeks. I think they really should go to their family doctor. But if that's not possible, then they come here and we treat them and get them better.
I'm Roselle LeBone here outside the emergency department at Dunedin Hospital. This area is bound to see a lot more action now that the sniffle season is here. With the seasonal changes come the usual raft of coughs and colds spread around the office, which is why it's more important than ever to take a day off work if you need to. You won't just get better quicker, your workmates will thank you for it.
The real problem in winter is influenza and a few other similar viral illnesses that are much more severe than a cold. And you can tell that's the sort of thing that gives you a high fever, gives you pains all over, makes you feel terrible. That's influenza.
It's also vital to get the flu jab if it's right for you.
We think it's important for older people, and it's funded and supported. They can get it through their GP. And then for people with chronic illnesses like chronic chest conditions.
Influenza injections are being offered now at your nearest healthcare provider. Roselle LeBone, The South Today.
The date of this year's Alexandra Blossom Festival could be changed, but opinion on the proposal so far is very mixed. The Blossom Festival Committee posted on its Facebook page a message about the dilemma surrounding the event's date and asking for your feedback. The post says the festival is traditionally held on the fourth Saturday in September, and this year that's September 23. However, the date clashes with the general election. The committee is considering changing the opening date of the festival and the street procession from September 23 to September 30. Make your voice heard. The quality of Invercargill's drinking water is set for a dramatic improvement, says the City Council. The Braxholme Water Treatment Plant's upgrade is almost complete, and it's welcome news for Invercargill residents.
Sick of dirty tasting water?
Hi, I'm Ruby Spink in Invercargill, and if you've noticed a bad taste in your drinking water, then you're not alone.
The compounds causing this problem are 2-methyl-isoborneol and geosmin. They come from algal blooms in soil bacteria at the water's collection point. They're safe to drink, but give the water an earthy taste. Invercargill City Council Water Manager Alistair Murray says this problem has been present every summer for years.
Last week we did get some adverse criticism because the earthy taste re-emerged in the water supply. We've got on top of that now.
However, Alistair Murray says there's a solution in sight.
So with the knowledge that we had this problematic earthy taste in summer, we weren't always compliant with the drinking water standards, and we had a plant and equipment that was wearing out, we decided to go and upgrade the Braxholme Water Treatment Plant.
After 10 months of work, the Braxholme Water Treatment Plant's $11.5 million upgrade is nearly complete. Murray says the new plant will give residents a more secure store of water and will address the taste issue.
Well, it's UV with enhanced oxidation. The new treatment really is a very strong form of oxidation which will completely oxidise the taste and odour producing compounds. The carbon system worked on a different system altogether. They were like microscopic sponges which used to collect all the taste and odour producing substances plus all the organics in the water too and remove it that way.
Alistair Murray says the upgrade will be completed in mid-April, removing any trace of the earthy taste. I'm Ruby Spink for The South Today, and I'll drink to that.
Still to come on The South Today, roll up, the vaudeville carnies, they're in town. And more smoke and mirrors from the world of politics next as we host Michael Woodhouse MP in the studio.
Bring some more joy into your world by adopting one of our adult animals at SPCA Otago. Call now on 473 8252. Please adopt a pet now, they will love you forever.
They say the grass is always greener, but not if you have Ready Lawn. Call Ready Lawn today and make them green with envy.
Active Furnishers Limited, home of quality service with superior product and an in-house design team who are always happy to advise and create an imaginative solution for you. Active Furnishers Limited, part of Dunedin's design history.
Ye Old English Village Fete, Sunday the 2nd of April, Chingford Park, 11 till 3:30. Bring the family. Brought to you by Alzheimer's Society Otago.
Grandad loved his family and surfing, in that order. He taught me to surf, and we spent a lot of time in the water together over the years. When he died, I strapped the camera to the nose of his old board and filmed the paddle out at St. Clair. Gillian's played the video on the big screen at his funeral. Grandad would have loved having everyone come out one last surf with him.
Gillian's Funeral Services, helping families celebrate the lives of their loved ones for generations. Gillians.co.nz.
Hi, Lindsay here from Alex Campbell, South Dunedin. We've got a great deal. It's a massive menswear liquidation. It's not ours, but we've gone all the way to Christchurch and bought the Darby Brothers Menswear's entire stock. You can save up to 70%. We must move it through quickly. Happy shopping.
Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
Hi, I'm Dennis Charlotte, and road racing motorcycles is my lifetime passion. It's a massive adrenaline rush, but the high-speed crashes have been tough on the body over the years. I almost felt as old as my mate Ian.
Sportsval, supporting tendons, ligaments and cartilage. And Energy Plus helps replace the energy that everyday living takes away.
Now I feel more alive and have more sustained energy to really enjoy my racing.
Buy 2 packs of Sportsval and get 2 packs of Energy Plus absolutely free. So call now, 0800 502 402.
Here is this week's Mole Map UV report. Did you know if you tan easily or have dark skin, you're still at risk of skin cancer?
If you've ever been on a sunbed or been badly sunburnt, what are the chances you could have melanoma? Remove the doubt. Get a mole map.
Garrador Dunedin, delivering quality stylish garage doors in Dunedin for over 15 years. New doors, replacement doors, repairs and maintenance are all part of Garrador's quality service. Garrador Dunedin offers a full range of modern quality doors to suit any home. Come visit the team at 553 Kaikorai Valley Road. Visit www.garrador.co.nz or call us on 488 5676.
Arrow International knows what the essential ingredient is for accomplishing great projects, working with great people. 30 years on and 3,000 projects later, with 10 offices and 400 staff nationwide, a company who values partnerships with their clients and carries a strong reputation for passion, integrity, and the love of a challenge, excelling in the construction industry and helping to create, with our partners, more iconic New Zealand buildings.
For over 35 years, Roslyn Mowers and Heating have been selling and servicing outdoor power equipment and are well established in home heating, installing wood fires. Call in and meet the friendly team. Roslyn Mowers and Heating, 150 Kaikorai Valley Road.
Saturday night is now 3 hours of Hollywood movies. Tune in for the hijinks of Laurel and Hardy or the smooth moves of Fred Astaire.
Sprindale. They've become very good friends.
Saturday nights, 7 till 10.
Thank you for staying with The South Today. Police have confirmed the name of the man who was killed in a helicopter crash near Reefton on the west coast. He was 51-year-old Noel Edward Wilson of Reefton, the helicopter's only pilot. Police say they've prepared a report for the coroner, and the Transport Accident Investigation Committee continues to investigate the cause of the crash. Roll up, roll up, roll up and enter the dark and ruthless Victorian underbelly of hucksters, mediums and carnies. Artist Lily Tolmarsh and David Ladderman bring some wholesome Victorian variety entertainment to Dunedin. Ladderman said their show entitled Mr. and Mrs. Alexander, Sideshows and Psychics is a love letter to the golden age of variety
when magic and spiritualism was captivating audiences and the public attention alike. Magic seemed like science, science seemed like magic.
Inspired by real accounts of travelling variety performers of the late 19th century, Tolmarsh says that the show has a lot of laughs, it's family friendly and has a range of performances.
They'll see sleight of hand, so the old cup and balls, the shell game, which is still conning audiences in Vegas today. So you'll see balls disappearing and appearing and reappearing and multiplying and then turning into fruit. You'll also see spoon bending like Uri Geller. metal bending and twisting in front of your eyes. You'll see mind reading.
Like the performers they portray, the travelling duo rarely see their native home of Christchurch. They've performed in 5 countries, all across New Zealand as well, from Kataia to Stewart Island. See them while they're in Dunedin. So you'll recall that the Dunedin City Council recently launched the SOS campaign, fronted by councillors Newell and Benson Pope. Now, last week we spoke with Opposition Health spokesperson Dr David Clark, and to provide balance at the South today, we're now hosting ACC Immigration and Workplace Safety Minister Michael Woodhouse to the studio. Good evening, Michael.
Good evening, Craig.
You're no stranger to the studio. Good to have you back.
Not at all. Well, lovely to be back.
It's been reported in the news, and we need to have clarity on this, that you have not supported the local government addressing the Dunedin Public Hospital. Have you been fairly inaccurately reported?
Oh, look, I support the sentiment of the Council's position, but I just can't understand the timing or the inconsistency with the decision they made to allow another organisation to do due diligence on a very important piece of land. Now, it's important, I think, to set out the government's position on this, and what they've said is that they fully support the rebuild and will finance it. They support the maintenance of the tertiary services that are provided there, and the Dunedin School of Medicine isn't going anywhere on our watch. Where the hospital will be is going to be a function of whether the main hospital block is a refurbishment or a replacement, and that information isn't to hand yet.
Okay, so everybody's basically on the same page.
Doesn't feel like it, but yeah, I think that's fair.
Okay, right. So the DCC, Benson Pope and Newell, and et al. Others, is this a meddling or is it a conjunction of services, assistance of services?
I think, firstly, I understand the strong feelings that are held about the importance of maintaining the health services in the South.
Yes.
But look, it's election year. I can see people getting ahead of a decision that government may make in the future that they could claim credit for. If we really wanted to play politics, we'd have made an announcement now which would have been knee-jerk and premature. It's really important we get the engineering expertise understood before we make decisions about what, and then we can make a decision about where.
Right, because you can never forget that this is election year, and it's going to be a tough year for National as well. Keeping your seat is not going to be as easy as it may have been over the years previously. Considering that this upcoming general election, is there a solid plan that we could possibly draw you on, or draw from National, about what might happen with Dunedin's, the teaching hospital in particular?
Well, look, the teaching component is very much a part of the future. The Dunedin School of Medicine, the physiotherapy school, the dental school, they're all very iconic parts of the University of Otago, and they're world class. They're not going anywhere. So it really is important that we have a physical infrastructure that supports that. Look, I understand the partnership group are going to be in a position in about late June or early July to be able to say, make a recommendation to government about what it thinks needs to happen. Questions about where are really important, but I think they're premature and will be able to be judged on that once we've made those decisions.
Because it's a number of physical questions to ask and fiscal questions to be answered yet. Can you offer any sort of, wall to play with?
Well, the government is committed to the financial support of the rebuild. The question of physical will also depend on what services are required. This is a 50-year look into the future. I think if we were to turn the clock back 50 years and find out how health services were delivered then, the hospital I ran used to have cataract surgery patients stay for a fortnight. Now they're unlucky if they stay for 3 hours. It's very much built around an ambulatory and community model. That's not to say we're not going to need a high-performing tertiary level hospital, but where it'll be, what it'll look like will largely depend on the information that's being gathered right now.
No doubt you'll be back in the studio again. Thank you very much indeed, Michael Woodhouse.
Thanks, Craig.
All right, everyone, stay where you are because we have more news on the South today coming very soon.
Emu oil has been used for centuries to support joint mobility and tired muscles. Also helpful for supporting healthy skin. Available as oil or in capsules. Go to www.silverhorn.co.nz to order emu oil today.
Get finance and get on the road. Talk to MTF today.
We're a 25 Moro Place at Dog with Towers Cafe and Bar. So we take coffee very seriously. We do what's called contract roasting, so we're creating our own roasting profile and then doing our own blends. We're really focused on the craft of what we're doing. You know, we're going back, instead of going on mass-produced sort of cheap things, we're taking the time to really craft what we're making. Make it so anyone can come here and have a feed and be able to get something they're able to eat or that they want to eat as well. You're kind of getting a taste of cafes from all around the world when you come here.
Hi, Lindsay here from Mount Campbell Saturday. We've got a great deal. It's a massive menswear liquidation. It's not ours, but we've gone all the way to Christchurch and bought the Darby Brothers Menswear's entire stock. You can save up to 70%. We must move it through quickly. Happy shopping.
Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
Ye Old English Village Fete, Sunday the 2nd of April, Chingford Park, 11 till 3:30. Bring the family. Brought to you by Alzheimer's Society Otago.
Ecrotech Limited have been supplying beekeeping equipment and honey products in New Zealand for over 100 years. A specialist manufacturer of hiveware and plastic products for the beekeeping industry. They are the leading supplier of beekeeping equipment nationwide. For all your beekeeping needs, visit ecrotech.co.nz or call 0800 11 7766.
Don't suffer in silence. Call Sunny Chin, Chi Master Body Technician, for structural, muscular, emotional bodywork. Phone 03 4250 606 for all your pain relief.
The University of Otago, New Zealand's only true collegiate university. For first-year students, the history, the expectations of excellence are
unfamiliar.
G'day, I'm next door.
Hi, next door. I'm Samantha Pascoe.
No, you're not. I'm Josh, Clyde, Science. And you are?
Sam, Hastings, Lauren Arts.
Tane, Auckland, Commerce. Osaka, Greece, Classics. History.
Put your seatbelts on for this one and rev it up. Thursday night is Motorsport Night. Proudly brought to you by multi-award-winning Garador.
Travelling this weekend? Think slow.
Bring some more joy into your world by adopting one of our adult animals at SPCA Otago. Call now on 473 8252. Please adopt a pet now. They will love you forever.
Thank you for staying with the South today. Wakatipu High School students will be in the limelight tomorrow, Wednesday night, as they bring Fame, the musical, to life. Students will sing, dance and act on the stage along to tell the story of Fame, the 1980 movie and television series about students applying to enter the New York High School of Performing Arts. Mina Amso got a glimpse of the show at rehearsal.
The stage is set, the lights are on, and it's time for action. Wakatipu High students were in rehearsal mode today, ahead of their big show tomorrow night, where they'll be bringing to life Fame, the musical.
It's based on the movie Fame, which a lot of us remember, with Irene Cara with her famous dance moves. And it's basically about students who apply to be in the Fame Performing Arts School in New York. And there's musicians, there's actors and dancers, and it goes through their lives, their sort of 4-year journey through that performing arts school.
The musical deals with teenage issues such as relationships, falling in love and chasing dreams.
It's a good one for our teenagers because a lot of the issues in the play they can relate to, or they might know someone who can relate to that.
Award-winning Wakatipu students and actor Hugh Taylor plays self-absorbed actor Nick Piazza, who's training in New York.
And you'll see that along the way he
encounters some troubles with that, some sidetracks, which he stays very determined to not let himself
He
get
falls
sucked
in love.
Yeah, he ends up falling in love in the end after about an entire musical of somebody liking him. He finally falls for them at the end. So yeah, he goes on quite a character journey.
Actor and student Beatrice Onions plays Miss Sherman, a very grumpy English teacher.
She's a bit misunderstood. You kind of realise throughout the musical she's not as grumpy as she may first appear.
Taylor and Onions found the musical the hardest this year because they had to also direct students.
Obviously me and Beatrice are student directing, so that brings a kind of new depth to the musical, but also the fact that we are playing characters which are kind of very similar, or I am, she's not as much, very similar in age, so you have to work very, very hard to make sure that you're not playing yourself on stage and that you're playing your character, because it's very easy to fall into the trap of I'm playing Hugh as opposed to I'm playing Nick.
But Onion says it is an amazing experience. The musical has 2 full bands.
I just always love playing to an audience. It's such a different feel. Like, we've been practicing since, is it late February? We've been practicing for almost 2 months, and it's finally good to just be able to put that practice into performance and play to people. That's always the best thing.
And behind stage is looking full. The show premieres tomorrow night at the Queenstown Memorial Hall and runs until Saturday. Mina Amso, The South Today.
Get a ticket if you can. A Dunedin game developer recently invested in a very shiny, brand new toy, and at almost $250,000, it is well inside the big boys toys category.
Is it a bird? Is it a plane? Is it a Ferrari? Is it even a petrol-powered vehicle? The answer, none of the above. It's an electric supercar, the new vehicle of game designer Dean Hall. Hall recently went on a demonstration of electric cars in Dunedin's Octagon, and was so impressed he had to have one.
My head hit the back of the seat and my sunglasses flew off into the back seat.
As you might expect, with an ultra-modern all-electronic vehicle, everything is electronic. There's also a steering wheel assist to monitor following distance, and heated everything, including the handlebar, formerly known as a steering wheel. Historically, electric vehicles have had a bad rap, always running out of charge, gutless and slow. However, Hall says the Tesla Model S P100D has a variety of driving modes and can be very quick.
I'm not sure what the exact stats are, but it does 0 to 100 in it's either 2.3 or 2.4 seconds.
Being a game designer, the all-electric Tesla's workings were another feature that attracted him.
And so when I ease off the accelerator like that, it actually suddenly becomes a charger, and the electrons are just flowing in the other direction, which is pretty cool when you think about it.
Hall says his is the first Tesla supercar delivered in the South Island, and he enjoys his vehicle, despite admitting that he threw up when he went on the first test drive. Daryl Baser, The South Today.
So pretty. Phil, what's in tomorrow's ODT, sir?
Well, this big issue of the Central City Hospital. The Prime Minister's come out and said one of the issues against a Central City Hotel is the expensive cost of land.
Right.
There's an editorial in tomorrow's paper on this issue where quite clearly we say emphatically that given the close links to medical school and how important that is, has to be, whatever form the hospital takes, has to be in the central city.
Absolutely.
And also makes the point that as we campaign for that, we have to be determined that our campaign is not party political.
Very interesting indeed.
From court, there's a story of a man who was in jail for 10 months awaiting trial on rape charges, and all those charges were dismissed, so not a very, that's not the best, and plenty more.
Excellent, Phil. Thank you so very much. That is The South Tonight for another night. It's always a privilege. I'm Craig Story. Thank you. Good evening.
This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.